Hello and welcome to my Project Goblin. I guess it's going to be like a blog, right? Um, I guess I'll start off. I've been playing Blood Bowl for about 20-25 years on and off. I've played nearly every single team, and I tend to rotate really rapidly between teams, especially if I sort of run into a bit of a roadblock, have like a series of like bad results or something. I tend to just change race. Um, But what I found is the more competitive the team I play as, the more sort of the more emotionally invested in the game I become. So if I'm playing, for example, dwarfs or Skaven or something like that, and the dice are going well, I'm having a great time and I'm winning the games, and yeah, it's great. If that doesn't happen, and I start rolling crap, or I make bad positioning mistakes that are then sort of exposed by some poor dice, or just like a better coach, I tend to get really pissed, and it's not a good look, especially if you run a league, and I've run leagues for a while now. But yeah, it's not a good look to like blow your top every time some dice go bad for you. I took some time off the game. I think last year, start of last year, probably about a year ago now. And then I was kind of finishing up the league that I was running, and the idea was I'd just shut everything down. And we're kind of getting to the end. People were doing their playoffs and stuff. And there was still quite an interest in keeping the season, or keeping the league going for another season. So I thought, well, I'll run it one more season. I don't want to run a league I'm not playing in, so I'll just throw in like a silly team to have fun, and just see how I do. And I ended up picking ogres because I didn't want to give myself a chance in hell. And over like the 3-month period that league was run, I like completely fell back in love with the game. It changed how I approached turns. It changed how I approached back dice. Made me look at my decisions a lot more. I tend to think my turns through a lot more when I'm playing the lower tiered races. So yeah, that was great. I had like 3 months of really enjoying Blood Bowl again. Next season comes around, and I just did the classic thing of going, right, I'm going to go tier 1 and try and win it again now. And within again 2 or 3 months, I just hated the game again. I couldn't stand it. I was already committed to a tabletop tournament. I'm trying to remember what I took now. I took Renegades. So I was like, right, I'll finish this up. And what I noticed was, again, playing a silly team that's designed to either be like brilliant or crap, I found that I just enjoyed the game so much more. So what I've decided to do, I've decided to set myself a challenge. I'm going to play Goblins for 12 months straight. There is a sort of little caveat in there. I'm finishing off a league at the moment, where I'm currently playing Dwarfs, but I've only got 2 games left, and then I'm going to retire those and replace them with Goblins in that league as well. I did record like another starting video to this, but I've decided to scrap it 'cause, yeah, it was pretty bad. So I'm actually already a couple of weeks into the experiment. I decided to get like a new logo done and stuff like that, and make everything Goblin themed, which is quite funny. And yeah, I thought I'd just use this to sort of capture my experiences of going from looking at Blood Bowl like it's super competitive to just trying to have fun with the game. I'm going to record all my results. So, you know, while I'm saying that I'm not results focused, I'm going to look at my results because I think they do play a factor into enjoyment. I'm maybe not going to be looking at wins so much, but more like around the draws and not losing too badly, I think will be the main focus. So yeah, like I said, been doing this for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, I actually already have some data that we can go and look at. So I think what we'll do first of all, should we go and look at we'll look at our Blood Bowl 2 team, right? So I've got 2 teams on Blood Bowl 2 at the moment. One of them hasn't been played. One of them I literally just wanted to grab. wanted to grab the username, which the team name, which is Project Goblin. So I'm going to start playing games on these guys. Right now, they are destined for some kind of league at some point, maybe in the next couple of weeks. I know our season finishes in, maybe a month or so, so I might enter them in there. If we get a mid-season dropout, I'll be able to just fling them in. So they're ready to go, team name all set up. I've been playing these guys, though, the Madcap Munchers. Now, these guys are played, they're not played in the CCL. CCL's not a format that I enjoy. Mainly because I prefer to play people I know, because you've got that relationship, you can have a bit of a laugh, you can go on voice comms, and it again feels more like the tabletop variant of the game. So, the TV up, TV down is part of it, but I have more fun when I'm playing someone that I get along with, whether they're beating me or not. I just tend to prefer playing my friends. So, these guys, you'll notice here, the first time I've ever filled this section in, they're the Thursday Prince Albert Champions, which is a new thing that we've set up in our league, which is basically a Thursday night spin. Everyone logs on, we spin, and then we work out at the end of the night who's the champion. Champion gets the belt, and then you just defend it every time you play from there. So we actually got lucky. We played a Kislev team. I think it was Kislev. Was it Kislev? Yeah, we played Kislev team and just absolutely dominated them with the chainsaw and picked up the win there. So that was pretty sweet. The team's coming along quite well, so pretty excited. Both of the trolls, they got block after the same game, so that was pretty crazy. And then last game wasn't the championship, it was my first title defense. We played some Amazons, 2-1 win there, which was pretty good. I had to make a couple of crazy dice at the end, and we'll look at that stoppage actually in a second, but managed to get another double on him. So I've got a Blodge troll here. So yeah, I'm going to watch his career with great interest, but these guys are only going to be used in that spin ladder. It was quite an expensive game for me. I lost a Pogo and a couple of other players, but we did have a very stunty moment at the end. So let's just pull this up now. I'm not going to do this with all the games, but if there's any cool bits where I do goblin stuff, I'll probably throw it in. So, turn 1, or turn 0, I want to point out the most devastating part of the match. Okay, setup's nearly done. No, I'm still taking too much time. Is he done? He's not. Okay. What do we miss? We'll let him finish it out. Basically, kickoff event, I'm going to spoil it here. Kickoff event is throw a rock. I'm going to ask you all to guess which player is hit and knocked over by the rock. I know you just saw it, but you probably didn't grab it with your eyes, so just take a moment. Have a guess now. 3, 2, 1. One player over there. And my fucking ball and chain. God damn. Ball and chain gone instantly. And we'll just whiz through the game now. Amazons had it up the flank. Deals with my weapons pretty well. And he scores early to get, any weapons off. I managed to get 2 Kaz though. We kind of push up, turn 1, run up with the Pogo. I think we get lucky here. So this player's actually got diving tackle. My opponent missed it, so he ends up setting up a nice blitz here. I think we're about to see it actually. Yeah, there we go. Diving tackle kicks in, and then we're pretty much off there. Move it on again. He gets the ball. I'm trying to push players round. What happened there? Oh yeah, that was the kickoff. So we push up here, skimming through quite a bit. Hand off to a Goblin. He then moves his players back round. We then switcheroo the other way. Clear him off. I think we stall for a turn and then we go in. He then manages to push me up, he removes a couple of goblins, so it's starting to look hairy. Kills the pogo, or minus agility's him. All my guys on the ground. And then, yeah, I kind of just ruined it there again. I should have checked what turn I did all this stuff. But here's like a stunty play. Dodge this guy out. Dodge this guy, double GFI. Boom. Clean pow. You love to see it. And then I think the ball just scatters randomly. I was hoping the ball would go out. But yeah, it didn't. And that was game pretty much, so we'll quit that replay. But yeah, that was a super fun match against my friend Miggy, who's... he's not the most experienced player in the world, but he's very, very aggressive. Record with these guys as well, 4-2-0. So these are by far my my best Goblin team that I've had for a while. I guess, yeah, I just want to show you that quick replay. Let's have a look now at the the overall results. So this is what I'm using to keep track of my games as we cover them off here. I'm just going to mark them. So I've got a fumble team at the moment. They've got a couple of wins. I think I've only played them twice yet. We played Dark Elves and we were 90k down. We played Chaos and we were 70k down there. Both of them were 2-0 wins. I managed to take some bribes. I think I took bribes on both of them. I didn't record it in the first one. I'll go and double check that. But yeah, so that seems to be good. So let's colour this in. Next up, we've got some ladder matches. So we did Kislev Lizards. The Lizards, I was quite far down. So I was 320k TV down in both of those games. It allowed me to bring in Fungus, Bribes, Wizards, and all sort of wonderful things. And we managed to get a couple of wins in those ones as well. So I was really happy with that. Again, this was like my first week of converting to Goblins. It was only last week, I believe. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Then I had a tabletop friendly match. This one did not go so well. So I wanted to play the new Goblin rules on tabletop ahead of a NAF tournament that I'd committed to. And that was pretty rough. I got absolutely smashed there. It was 2-1. I nearly scored. I nearly scored with my troll to make it 2-2 at half time. But I failed the GFI, and I did not have enough players left to start the second half. And my opponent was quite a slow player, so it had taken us over 2 hours to play one half. So we just agreed to call it there. But it was a good match. Taught me some lessons around positioning, especially with the bomber. I didn't position him very well at all, and he got taken out very, very quickly. So there was at least some valuable lessons there. And then we had the Kislevs, which was the championship, or the Thor championship thing. So I won that. That was a 1-0, pretty close game, but I destroyed pretty much all of his team. I think that team's actually retired now. So the chainsaw was firing pretty well. And then that takes us to the NAF event. So we went to a NAF event on Saturday. I got absolutely screwed over by two of my friends who unfortunately had real life problems and couldn't go. So it was a team event, and literally, so 3 of you apply, and then you pair off against other teams, and you, like, our captain plays their captain, our number 1 seed plays their number 1, and things like that. So the Friday morning, I'd booked the Friday off to paint all my models up. The Friday morning, my first friend messages the group and says, sorry, got some issues, can't come, which is understandable because they're sort of pre-existing. So I messaged the tournament organiser, let him know. Second friend then messages me at 9 o'clock at night and says, I've just tested positive for COVID. Shit. So messaged the tournament organiser. Again, there was 2 guys that I've played with before at my local club that were in as stand-ins just in case something like this happens. So yeah, thanks to those guys, I was able to still go down and play. My team list was pretty fun. It was 3 ball and chains. So I had Crete, Fungus, and my sort of rostered. I had a chainsaw, 2 trolls, and just some goblins, and 3 bribes as well. But with Crete's special rule, I essentially had 4 bribes, which did come into play. So game 1, I go and sit down, you draw your little token, and then that's who you're going to play. First match was a chap named Chris. I cannot remember his second name, so I'm really sorry, Chris. If you're watching this, I doubt you will be, but if you're watching this, had a really, really fun game. Thank you very much. My immediate feelings, bearing in mind I've played Goblins v Dwarfs when I've been the Dwarfs, and I've seen how one-sided it is. So when I had Chorfs as my first matchup, and they had block on the other positionals that don't have block, I was pretty worried. First half, I think I failed a 3-up, which would have allowed me to basically tag the last defender and then move a goblin into scoring range. So I failed that on a 3-up with a reroll, which was pretty sad, but it happens. I did cause a lot of casualties in the first half there, so there was a chance that I could maybe turn him over, but I committed a little bit too hard in the second half, and it just left him a gap through. The thing that I think I've learned from that game is, had I not gone in and tried to turn the ball over to win, I think I would have got the draw fairly easily, because he didn't have a lot of time left when I did that, and that kind of opened the door for him. So that's a lesson for the future. Great game, and again, Chris, if you are watching, thank you so much, dude. Had a great game. His Minotaur let him down massively throughout the entire game, so it was hilarious to watch. Second game of the day. So I've gone through the mental torment of Chorfs. I sit down, and who's in front of me? There's a local tabletop legend called Mr. Frodo, and I see him. I don't go to a lot of events, but every event I go to, Mr. Frodo's always there. And he had a lovely dwarf team, and the skill-ups that he chose were block on the runners and tackle on the blitzers and troll slayers. So there was just his team was just designed to kill stunty players. He had some guard in there, but it didn't matter. That game was pretty one-sided. The only reason it was 2-0 and not 8-0 is because of the time it takes him to move across the board. By turn 3, I had nothing left. Like, one troll was gone, all the ball and chains were gone, a couple of the other goblins were gone. I went for a desperate throw teammate to try and score, but failed to land in, with a reroll as well, which was pretty rough. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Okay. And then final game of the day. So again, I was mentally a bit destroyed now after mentally a little bit destroyed after the events of the dwarf game. We had a lovely chap called Dave that I play with quite a lot locally. Well, I say locally, he's moved away now, but he used to go to the club that I went to. We had a great game, Dark Elves versus our Goblins. Again, turn 1, his first action, he ran out and tried to stab a Goblin, the ball and chain, which I was terrified, but lucky he low rolled. And then his second action, he tried to dodge away from Creek. Luckily, he's got Prehensile Tail, so he actually failed that dodge, didn't choose to re-roll it, and what happened next can only be described as a bloodbath. Basically removed like 2 or 3 players in the first turn, a couple more the second turn. I over-pushed, trying to turn him over, and he actually he managed to slip out with his Witch Elf, and was pretty much, I needed a POW, and I was only really going to get 1 dice to try and do it, and then I remembered there's a great counter to Blodge, which is a chainsaw. So I chainsawed the Witch, the ball fell and landed on a Troll, who then ran up to the halfway line, went to do the handoff to a Goblin. Goblin failed to catch, but it bounced off that Goblin's head, landed on the other Troll caught it, ran up the pitch, loads more bullshit, and he ended up double GFI to go 1-0 up. And then the second half, poor Dave just didn't have enough players left to really mount any kind of effective defense. It had taken us quite a while to get to that point, so a couple of turns I kind of just consolidated, knowing that he didn't have the players to get in, and just ended turn just to kind of get us towards the end of the game. And then turn 15, I just did a throw teammate, scored, went 2-0 up, and that was it. And then finally just had another match yesterday, which it was against those Amazons. Went pretty well, 2-1 win, and again it was pretty lucky defense there. So I'm going to finish. This has gone on a little bit longer than I was perhaps expecting, and feedback will very much be appreciated on this. Like, if I'm just waffling on too much, I feel like I probably have done this time. But yeah, in terms of lessons, there's a few things I've learned. The first one is that whether I'm winning or losing, I just have so much fun with goblins. I need to get better at positioning my weapons. But I think the biggest thing I've learned over the past 2 weeks, besides the results don't matter, they do in some aspect, but in terms of fun, the result doesn't matter, is it's not the end of the world with goblins if you lose your weapons early. It's not good, don't get me wrong, like, it's much better to have your chainsaw all the way through the entire game, but because of the sort of interesting plays that goblins can do, you still have an opportunity to win, no matter if you've got weapons or not. It's hard, but a lot of coaches don't seem to understand like how easy it is to just get in and uphill the ball. So if they've got it on something that's not blodge, or doesn't have any not blodge, or doesn't have defensive skills, it's pretty much the same thing. There's always an argument for committing one goblin to stop the assist if they're gonna if it'll change it from a 2 to a 3 dice, or just sending in a suicide goblin straight up the middle, try and knock something over, and just see what happens in the chaos. You will roll 5s on your pickup rolls occasionally. It does happen, so you can. I've had that happen a couple of times in those games. I've knocked someone over, the ball's landed in the middle of a cage, and I've just walked in with the goblin, picked it up, and walked out. Happens more than you think. So those lessons. Don't focus too much on the result. Don't get too upset. It's got me much. It's allowing me to get over players dying a lot easier as well, because it just happens so frequently now. When you engage is so important. You really have to be quite cunning and choose when you go in, and also choose when to give up a drive. So if you know that you're not going to be able to stop them, maybe then just convert to try and foul a key piece and get it off for the second half. But I'm quite competitive. Like, I will always try and stop them scoring if I can, and then it's only like a last ditch I'll pull out. I know some coaches don't even try and stop the score; they just go for the removals early, which there's an argument for that. So what's next for this week in my sort of goblin adventures? I'm going to try and play a bit more fumble, because I've got 2 tabletop tournaments starting up next month. And I want to try the positionals like the Doom Diver, the Hooligan, and all that fun stuff. I want to try those a little bit more, see which I like. I've got the 2 tabletop tournaments going up. So one of them I'm going to go positionals heavy, like non-weapon positionals heavy, and the other I'm going to go weapon heavy, and just see which roster I have more success with, and see if there's any pieces that I really like there. I've got my Thursday night championship that's going to be done every week, so hopefully I'll get some more games in there. And I'm going to try and be more active on the Fumble competitive division as well. So hopefully see some of you guys out there. If anyone has any Goblin advice they want to place in the comments, or they just want to give me in general, please message me. I'd love to talk Goblins. And final thing as well, if you've not, go and check out Goblin Town, which is a Discord set up by a group of really, really good Goblin coaches. There's loads of cool talk about like strategy and just Goblin cool stuff in general. So if you've not heard of it before, I'm sure a lot of you heard about it in PC's podcast the other week. I heard about it from there, although I think I had been in it before, but I didn't stick around. Give it a try, and let's see if I can stick to this for 12 months. The next video will probably be in about 2 weeks, and yeah, we'll go from there. Have fun Blood Bowling, people.